All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth with 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, The Lord is Beginning to Strike Fear into Babylon. Slakia. And I got a couple of video clips here. I might not go into all 4 of these video clips, but I know I'm going to try and get at least 2 of them. You know, I ain't got a whole lot of time. I got to get to sleep here in a little bit. But I'm going to get into at least 2 of these videos, and I might do a part 2 on the last 2. So let's go ahead and get into it. Lord willing, this video lesson is edifying, straight to the point, and edifying to the flock.
On non-perishable foods. We are entering times where not only are we going to be hitting famines, you have to understand that the mark of the beast is coming soon. You cannot buy or sell without it in this world. You have to stock up on as many things as you possibly can. We are approaching fastly end time tribulation, the lesser tribulation before the first resurrection. We are fastly approaching the time that God is going to fully rely on his son to be taking care of us. People are only going to be able to talk to Christ, and that time is coming fast. God bless you, and I'll see you later.
All right, so you saw that video of what he's talking about, saying stock up on food, right? Let me go into this other video.
Beginning phases of it hitting the fan. If you don't believe me, please keep scrolling because this don't have nothing to do with you, okay? We are concentrating on stocking up on food and water. We're not thinking about any gadgets. We're not thinking about anything beyond that until we have 2 weeks of food and water stocked up. I have made tons of videos on how to begin doing this. I always tell you before you spend money on anything else to make sure you have that in order, right? But I also want to tell you that my new book, The Personal Prepping and Survival Planner, is now available. This is going to be a walkthrough month by month on how to get your house in order, from all of your important documents to short-term food storage, long-term food storage, water storage, medical supplies, emergency car storage, everything, okay? This is not bushcrafting. This is not how to survive in the wilderness. This is how to get all of your stuff together to have enough food, water, essentials in your home for you and your family. We have officially
All right, so these people in Babylon are scared. They're afraid. And this is why they're talking about stocking up on food. This is why they're talking about, getting essentials, making sure you have things to take care of your family, and you know what I'm saying? Because they understand, people in Babylon the Great are starting to see, there's going to be a famine here in America. People in Babylon are starting to see that already, right? Even though we've been prophesying of this for decades, the men of the Lord, starting with our apostles and elders on down, have been prophesying about the coming famine and the coming tribulation for decades. You know what I'm saying? As Hebrew Israelites, we've been warning you Babylonians about what's to come and what's going to happen. But, for a long, long time, people were telling us, oh, that's never going to happen. We ain't going to never have to worry about that. Oh, y'all just trying to fearmonger and, make people afraid and everything like that, right? But all of a sudden, 2025, this nigga Trump is in office and he on his bullshit. And what has he been doing? He's been doing things that is going to cause supply chain issues, that's going to cause disruptions in the logistics of goods coming into this country. You know what I'm saying? With these tariffs, right? I did a video last week on, how few ships are coming into these major ports. There's very few ships coming into these major ports here in such as Los Angeles and Oakland and Seattle versus the activity that's going on over in China. You know what I'm saying? There's very little activity compared to what's going on over there, right? What we've been saying is coming to pass. What we've been prophesying is coming to pass. But a lot of people didn't want to listen. A lot of people kept on, looking at us crazy, talking about us crazy and saying that we don't know what we're talking about and everything like that, right? But look at it, you see it's happening. We've been telling you, right? We've been telling you. We've been letting y'all know that Babylon the Great is coming to an end, right? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, starting at verse 5. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." Right? We've been crying out to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for this day, for these times. You know what I'm saying? We've been crying out for these times, right? For the wickedness of this world. You know what I'm saying? The wickedness of this world is exceedingly great now. You got, you know what I'm saying, the Moism going on. You got, you know what I'm saying, the harlotry and all of this, foolishness and wickedness going on out here in this world, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. You know what I'm saying? The love of many is waxing cold. This place, Babylon the Great, man, is that time for this place to come to an end. It's that time for this place to be, afflicted. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately destroyed. See, but what these Babylonians, what they're hoping for is that there's going to be a time where, is that, Salakia, I'm looking out this window. What these Babylonians are hoping for, though, is a time of restoration for Babylon. You know what I'm saying? They're hoping that this place is going to be healed. They're hoping that this place, okay, some people are seeing that, all right, there's going to be a tribulation. There's going to be some things, a famine. There's going to be some things that are going to happen, and there's going to be some rough times, right? But what they're hoping for is that there's an end to those rough times and that everything will go back to normal. See, everybody is so worried about everything going back to normal. You're ignoring the reality of judgment, right? And you're ignoring prophecy. See, the truth of the matter is that prophecy is going to be fulfilled. And what does prophecy say? Prophecy says that Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed with fire, i.e. intercontinental ballistic missiles. Intercontinental Slovakia. Yeah, intercontinental nuclear ballistic missiles, right? Or ICBM, Slovakia. But that's what Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed with. And that's what these people don't take into account. You know what I'm saying? There is going to be an end to this tribulation, but the end to the tribulation is the destruction of this land, the destruction of this place, and the deliverance of the elect. See, the only people that are going to be delivered out of this place is the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is the elect of the nation of Israel. Those are going to be the only people that are going to make it out. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, I'll be of that number, and brothers also. But those are going to be the only ones that get up out of here. And if you ain't believing on the truth, believing in these scriptures, the truth of these scriptures, not Christianity, not Seventh-day Adventism, not Jehovah's Witnesses, but the one true 100% doctrine of the Bible, of the Hebrew Israelites, right? And ultimately, if you be chosen, those are going to be the only ones that are going to make it out of here. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't believing in this gospel, in this truth, well, you ain't got it. You ain't one of them. You ain't one of the elect. There ain't gonna be there's gonna be an end, but things ain't gonna go back to normal, right? We're looking for the kingdom. We're looking for righteousness to prevail. We're looking for the Lord to bring his righteous kingdom into the earth. Not for Babylon the Great to continue, not for Moab to come into rule because Moab think they got next, or one of these other heathen nations to rule and come into power. We're not looking for that. We're looking for Yahushua and his kingdom. You know what I'm saying? The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1, it says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Right? So the Lord is beginning to visit this place. Right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is about to bring judgment here in Babylon the Great, here in America, and around the world. You know what I'm saying? The whole world is going to be feeling this. The whole world is going to be feeling tribulation because the Lord is going to be visiting this place. And the Lord is going to be bringing out greater judgments, right, than ever before. I remember the elder Manat Zakba used to say, in this time, in judgment, the Lord is going to reach an all-time high score, right, in death and destruction and in judgment. You know what I'm saying? Everybody here who is not of the elect in Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed. This place is going to be burned up, melted, and ultimately it's going to be the lake of fire, which is talked about in the book of Revelation. That's what's going to become of this place. Ain't no reset, ain't nothing like that, man. Ain't no new world order. I mean, there is going to be a new world order that they're going to try and usher in, but it's ultimately going to fail. It's not going to happen like they want it to happen, right? It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 29. It says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other." Right? So the Lord is going to come down with great power, great glory, in his chariots, in his army. You know what I'm saying? In his chariots, in his army, and bringing destruction in this place, right? While simultaneously delivering his elect from the four corners of the earth, right? Primarily here in Babylon the Great, but there's elect all over the earth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're going to see. We're going to witness this, man. Lord willing, I make it through the tribulation. Lord willing, I make it through, Jacob's trouble. Because I want to witness this. I want to see this. I want to see this happen. You know what I'm saying? All of the things that we've been prophesying, man, all of the videos, all of the camp sessions every week that we've had, you know what I'm saying? And we've been talking and prophesying, breaking down these scriptures, letting these people know, getting scoffed at, getting made fun of, people talking shit about us on the internet, every day, day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how great of a feeling it's going to be when all of these things that we've been saying is going to come to pass? And we can rightfully say, I told you so. You should have believed, nigga. But you didn't, right? And now you out here getting judged. Because these people, man, especially you 2/3 of Israel, especially you Christians, you know what I'm saying? You nigga Christians, you're going to get judged. You're going to get your judgment. You know what I'm saying? The Lord ain't coming to play. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? Allah Shadya, right, is going to show his power once again throughout this whole earth. It's Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 4. And it says, and these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. See, people are going to be afraid. People are getting afraid already. You know what I'm saying? Trump talking about taking away Section 8. You know what I'm saying? You women is getting worried. You know, everybody getting worried for the economy. You know what I'm saying? It's over for Babylon. It's over for this place. Right? For you heathen, ain't nothing you can do. You might as well leave the country and go wherever you from, or go somewhere else. But for the rest of you that's gonna stay here, for you wicked 2/3 here in Babylon the Great, ain't no hope for you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no hope for you escaping the destruction of this place, because you a part of the 2/3. Now when you get into there's hope for you in the kingdom, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be good in the kingdom. Over here in Babylon the Great, though, when this judgment hit, you ain't gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? But that's what these scriptures are speaking on. Men, mighty men. You know what I'm saying? The quote unquote alpha of the alpha is men are gonna be afraid like little girls in that day. Right? Verse 7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Right? So, you know, Jacob's trouble is going to be, you know, full of perils, man. It's going to be like a day we've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it's going to get. It's going to be unimaginably bad. And we're going to have faith. You know, we're going to have faith, knowledge and wisdom of these scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And belief in Yahweh Shai to get through that day. That's the only way you're getting through that day, is belief and faith in Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, we keep the commandments to the best of our abilities, but fringes ain't going to save you in that day. You know, the fringes ain't gonna do nothing for you if you ain't got faith, and if you ain't right in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I gotta get me some sleep. Lord willing, this video lesson was edifying.